Good morning, and thank you for joining us on today's daily devotional as we continue our series through the book of Proverbs. Proverbs chapter 8 starts with, "Does not wisdom call out? Does not understanding raise her voice? At the highest point along the way where the paths meet, she takes her stand. Beside the gate leading into the city, at the entrance she cries out, 'To you, O people, I call out. I raise my voice to all mankind. You who are simple, gain prudence. You who are foolish, set your hearts on it. Listen, for I have trustworthy things to say. I open my lips to speak what is right. My mouth speaks what is true, for my lips detest wickedness. All the words of my mouth are just. None of them is crooked or perverse. To the discerning, all of them are right. They are upright to those who have found knowledge. Choose my instruction instead of silver, knowledge rather than choice of gold. For wisdom is more precious than rubies, and nothing you desire can compare to her." So what most people see in the book of Proverbs is it's a mashup basically of short sayings that convey a lot of truth. What many people are unfamiliar with, though, is the structure of the book and the way it's presented as instruction from a father to a son to avoid evil things and violence. And this is evident in Proverbs chapter 1 through 9, which serves, like I said, as a prologue to the book and a challenge for the son to steer clear of foolish ways of violence and adultery. In chapter 8, though, the adulteress comes to represent these sins and acts of foolishness. But in chapter 8, we're introduced to wisdom, and wisdom is personified as a woman, the only comparison who can guide a young man in the way he should go. Of course, the book of Proverbs was written for the entire covenant community, and the lessons apply equally well to women and men. Divine wisdom is by the means by which we will avoid evil and live righteously. In having portrayed the adulteress as smooth and seductive in her enticement to sin, our author presents wisdom as one who speaks. Unlike the evil woman who calls out in secret and hides her plans from her husband, wisdom calls out boldly and publicly. She makes her declaration at the gates of the town. Since the entrance to the town or city was the place where people gathered to do business and engage in commerce, we are to conclude that the personification of wisdom has to say will touch all aspects of life of both individual and community. Wisdom is not limited in her discourse to narrowly religious matters, but what she has to say can equip the son for all of his life. We can't help but think of Paul's teaching on the sufficiency of Scripture in 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 16 through 17. It contains the wisdom of God revealed to his people through the prophets and the apostles. It's sufficient enough to equip us for every good work. No matter what we do or what position we enjoy in life, God has something to say about how we are to serve and glorify him for where he has placed us. Wisdom's words are righteous and have nothing crooked in them, she says so herself in Proverbs 8, verses 8 through 9. Here we see the close link between righteousness and wisdom in the book of Proverbs. True wisdom always leads to personal righteousness, and personal righteousness helps us grow in God's wisdom. Thus, wisdom is far more valuable than any earthly good. It teaches us how to please the Lord, the one who holds his hand in everything with which wisdom is concerned. And so in today's society, we place just such a strong focus on education, but we don't really see a corresponding concern for righteousness. Consequently, while we benefit from education, we must be aware that education in and of itself is not wisdom. It cannot produce wise people. We find wise people only where righteousness has been made a part of education. Parents at home, the corporate body of the church, must teach the righteousness of God in order to produce wise leaders in the people of God. Thank you for joining us for today's daily devotional. We'll see you tomorrow. God bless.